Well, good morning, everyone. It is a BC and OC takeover today. Piper had some things he had to take care of. We were having a few issues with Streamlabs, which, if you watched the Good Morning Crypto show, you know that there was some issues. So hopefully this is all worked out. But it is a BC and OC takeover. How are you doing this morning, OC?
Let's get it. What's up, BC Port Cup? All good, all good. Here fighting with Streamlabs. Streamlabs, bro, fix your shit, man. We're both complying about the same things here. So it's not only me, it's not only him, it's both of us. But other than that, I'm pretty happy taking my early morning coffee when they told me, hey, BC Port Corp is going to be hosting. I was, all right, well, this time I need to make it on time. So I did. Hey, and other than that, doing fantastic. Really grateful. By the way, guys, so sorry. Yesterday, I was not feeling too great about I had some stomach issues, just if you must know, and well, then it was not fun. That's why I was not able to make it onto both of the shows. But other than that, I'm good to go, man. Doing fantastic. How about you, PC?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. I'm glad that I was able to kind of make up for the mess up this morning. Not only YouTube dropped, but my X rugged as well. So both of my streams rugged, and I was just speaking to nobody, and it was an interesting morning. But I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. Definitely glad that you could make it, because we might have to put a tinfoil hat on this morning, because I got a news article that you might tie to some corruption that has already happened in Mexico. May or may not.
I all right. I need to find it. I need to find it. Let me know. Let me know, and I'll get it done by then. I'll get it ready by then.
Sounds good. Well, before we dive into all of that, we do have a little bit going on in the markets this morning. Do you want to be on the screen or off the screen for this, OC?
uh, be my guest. Whatever works for you.
Well, I will put you on the side so you can go find your tinfoil hat, and then when I go to the news, I'll bring you back on, and then you can get your tinfoil hat. I will see you on the other side, sir.
The other side, brother.
All right. Well, we've had a bit of movement here this morning. I did want to take a look at the Russell 2000 a little bit later. I know Piper had brought that up the other day, but we're seeing a little bit of green in the market this morning. We've got things like Apple up 1.1%. We've got Nvidia up 0.7, continuing on that little green streak it was on yesterday. Berkshire Hathaway continuing to see a little bit of some sell-off, down 0.18. Amazon continuing on its green streak, up 1% right now. We've got Eli Lilly continuing to see a little bit of sell-off. It was down yesterday as well. ExxonMobil to the downside as well. Got Tesla continuing to see a little bit of green this morning, up 2.86% right now. We've got the tech sector also up, Microsoft up 1.1, Google up 0.5%, and Meta also up 0.24. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things, because that's what you're actually here for. We know you guys love the crypto, and this is looking a little bit red. We were sitting up nice and early this morning, but continuing to see some sell-off. And we're seeing just a little bit of some hopium on the 1 hour. We got Bitcoin up 1%. We've got Ethereum down 1.2. XRP down 2.8. We've got BNB down 0.3% right now. We've got Solana down 1.8. Dogecoin down 3.1. Cardano sitting down 0.8%. Tron, on the other hand, with a no change on that board, seeing some green on the hourly. We've got Chainlink down 1.8%, Hyperliquid getting a little bit of pullback. We did call that out the other day on Good Morning Crypto. We've got Avalanche sitting in the green. That is definitely a project we've been focused on Good Morning Crypto as well. If you haven't been watching those shows, you've been missing out just a little bit. We try to set Piper up to kind of like tee that ball out of the park in the morning. We will have a little bit of data to talk about later, but a lot of red on the markets this morning. We do have a few shifts in position as well. SWE dropping a position from Avalanche. We've got Stellar Lumens taking a spot from Bitcoin Cash after Bitcoin Cash saw a very big move towards the downside. 6% move. We've got HBAR down 2.4%. Talked about HBAR quite a bit as well. We've got Litecoin with no change on the board, and Leo token holding steady with 0.1% increase there. Hopping over to those fear and greeds today, we are up a point on the stock side. You have been seeing a little bit of resilience over there with that 1% increase. Nothing too worrisome. Crypto remaining quite neutral. We are failing to really get above some key levels that I've been pointing out over on Good Morning Crypto. We want to get back to that point of control on Bitcoin, and we've really failed to do so. So let's hop on over to those liquidation heat maps. Let's get a little bit of refresh. I did pull it up a little while ago, but Bitcoin sitting with quite a bit of liquidity directly towards the upside of us. Daily chart has that liquidity directly above our point of control, and we really want to get back above there. We will kind of have to see if we can find some strength directly below us. I called out a key level earlier this morning. I don't know if you were able to hear it or not, because, we rugged this morning. So we will talk about that here in just a second. We do have a little bit of liquidity towards the top side on the 1 week as well. Sitting back up at that point of control range, it is a little bit of a broad range of liquidity. Ranges all the way up to 18,600 and starts way down here at 18,000. So keep your eye on the top side. We might get that move back up after we clear out some of our local range liquidity. Let me get the rest of the markets pulled on up, because we have seen some continuation towards the upside on our TradFi side. We've got the S&P 500 up 24 points. We've got the NASDAQ up 0.49. We've got the Dow Jones up 0.18. We did see some sell-off over in our Asian markets. Nikkei down 0.5%. We've got Shanghai down 0.3. The VIX is increasing. We're not yet above that 17%, but we are approaching it. So make sure you watch that. We do have a little bit that might shake us out going forward, especially when we look at Monday's data drops. Monday's going to be the big one, and I do have a news article that'll kind of lean into what we're going to see for Monday. Before we get on over to that, let's actually bring that on up, kind of discuss what we're looking for next week, because we don't have any heavy data drops today. So my big focus is going to be gearing up for next week, because in next week we're going to be getting some information on Monday. Monday might shake things up just a little bit, nothing too heavy data drop wise, but watching Fed Williams, Fed Mausoleum, Fed Barkham, Fed Hammock. We do have some speeches out of Canada and the Bank of England as well. Seeing a lot of what we've been seeing right now, inflation pressures increasing, job numbers really decreasing, sitting a little bit ahead of us in our rate cutting cycle does give us a little bit of a forecast of what might come our way, especially since we're walking the same fine line that they were, with job numbers being a little bit iffy and inflation pressures being a little bit sticky. You do have Tuesday as well with some heavy data coming from the Fed as well. A few more Fed chairs speaking, like Fed Bowman and Fed Bostic, and Powell will be speaking on Tuesday as well. So keep your eyes open for the beginning of the week next week. We will be getting a lot of speeches that might give us a little bit of a guesstimate on what's going to be happening at this next FOMC meeting. But before we get into all of that here, let's get OC pulled back up on the screen. Make sure I got the right one there. Oh, yep, there he is with that nice tinfoil hat. He is ready to dive on into this. We did see the federal interest rate come down 0.25, and that is exactly what was forecasted. But not everyone was in agreement about a 25 basis point rate cut. We did see a Fed chair switch. This was a President Trump person that was working in his cabinet. He ended up sitting on the back burner waiting for that Fed chair position to Fed board member position to open, and with a recent let go, he was put into place. And at this last FOMC, you saw a descent. No surprise there. That descent was this member. Scrolling on down, we saw that member favor a 50 basis point rate cut, kind of in line with Fed's with the target that Trump wants to see. 350 basis point rate cuts so that we can get down to that whole 3% decrease. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. It's annoying me. There we go. Sorry about that. Had to decline that phone call. But, you know, we are well above that 2% target, not really seeing all of the signs that you'd want to really, really rush into a rate cut. And I know, OC, you've talked quite a bit about what has happened over and over again in Mexico and how you've seen a little bit of corruption. Does any of this scream any signs to you that maybe the government might be doing something a little bit iffy, trying to pressure people into kowtowing to what they would like, even if it's not the best for the American people or the market in general?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've seen this before, but you're just getting started. Come on. No, just kidding. All right, just kidding. The point is that what I see, like, come on, here they lie to your face, and it's dude, it's almost that hilarious that how they lie to your face in here. So, guys, please don't get to the point. Remember, if you are defending a politician, you're stupid. I'm sorry to say, but you defend your ideas, you defend your brothers, and that means everybody that surrounds you. You defend your people. Don't defend politicians. Just a quick advice: if somebody goes politics, it's no longer human. It's no longer human. All right. So just take that into consideration before starting defending politicians because, well, we've seen over centuries and centuries and centuries, and this is not going to be the exception that power corrupts. All right. So, what I just want to, after all that introduction, it is that, yes, I do see that coming. I mean, politicians will try to push a narrative, all right? Something that I also want to kind of like imply here, and it's not like I'm really saying it, and I'm trying to be a little cautious in here, is that, well, US is right now the number one economy, right? So, despite that, it also has a kind of corruption, very different with other countries' corruption. All right. And this kind of things might not be only affecting the American people, but also might be playing another big important step with the US hegemony playing out in the world. And that's what I would say. Hey, guys, I mean, we're counting on you on the US. All right. So, I mean, and why is that? Because if we want to keep living on the world that we know of, right, that we are used to, right, where you have that much freedom on your countries, well, then I would say be careful with the steps that you take and be careful with the politicians that you select because they should be representing you in your country sometimes. And this happens a lot of economy, right? And please look at what happened with Argentina, right? When Argentina actually started getting uh parties from the left side, and not all the left side is bad, just so you guys know, they're coming back when they're going really heavy in socialism, right? That being said, well, they start giving away too much or too many help to the overall public. That made people stay within a comfortable zone, all right? And then instead of getting or putting more strength on what they do, they start lacing out. Not only that, well, that creates a more pronounced division with the economy, and that start creating debt within the country, right? This comes to hyperinflation, right? And what happens with, for example, President Milei went into took office. Well, then he started calling out. The first thing that he started calling out, it was something like what Dutch did. Start calling out offices that did not have to do anything there, that they were shocking out projects, because it is much better for the government to set the means for people to thrive, right? Not to actually get the money or get them into a social thing that will be over or will be leeching from other citizens. This is, guys, something that goes like right instead, like, hey, this politician is just screwing us over. Not always. Most of the cases, yes. Most of the cases, yes, right? But talking about economy, sometimes, all right, sometimes when you have that blue chip like Millet, right, they will actually do something that looks like it's not good for the population, but it's actually good for the economy. If it's good for the economy, it's good for you. But in this case, don't let it trick you. It doesn't seem to be that this the case, all right? But just saying, think it through, develop your own opinion, have it a little bit, have a little chat with others surrounding you, and well, then, yeah, push over your politicians because they work for you, not the other way around. Just a quick reminder.
Most definitely. I don't know anyone else more deserving of criticism than your politician. You put this person in charge to delegate decisions on your behalf, and when they're doing things that don't always benefit you, you should say it loud and proud, and not just one side, but all of them. Because no side's better than the other. They both play the same little shell game. How do I benefit the people that give me money so that I can be in this position of power, when they should be reaching out to their local people and being like, hey, what do you need me to do that's going to benefit you? And instead raise up the lowest people so that their means are a little bit higher, because that's the only way you can raise up anything above that. That's why you're seeing a giant gap between the richest rich and the poorest poor. And the middle class gap between the middle class and the richest is expanding even quicker. So if that doesn't tell you that neither side really kind of has your best interest all the time, that definitely should. So I did want to bring up something that Piper talked about yesterday, and that was the Russell 2000. He had brought up the fact that if you get a rate cut, you might see that Russell 2000 actually start performing in ways that it hasn't. We haven't made a new high on the Russell 2000 since 2021. And guess what it just did yesterday? I talked about it on Wall Street Weekly, the show on my channel. The Russell 2000 was battling extremely hard to make a new all-time high. And you know what happened later in the day? It made that new all-time high. What this really shows you is that we're in a more risk-on environment here. And if we can actually get our next rate decision being another cut, this could play out extremely well for your altcoin market. So scrolling on in here, we do have a live update on it. The Dow Jones traded 98 points higher, or 0.2%. The S&P 500 traded 0.2% higher, while the Nasdaq Composite advanced 0.3%. The small cap Russell 2000 rose 0.1% and touched a fresh record high. Apple led the way, rising higher 1.4% as the company's latest iPhone went on sale around the world, and Tesla shares were up 2%. As you're seeing, it's been quite a rise, not just in the crypto markets, but across the board, and your smallest caps are really coming out ahead now. Let me get that chart pulled on up for the Russell 2000. I had that pulled up in the background because we were watching it quite closely. BC for Prez, Army Piper saying I'm not old enough. Yeah, I just turned 30. I still got 5 more years to go, but eventually I would like to try to hold a public office and actually listen to the people and not make it like a lifelong thing. I want to get in, get something done, and then get out and go live my life. I think that's how politicians are supposed to be. They're supposed to serve, and they're not supposed to make it a whole career. I'm not trying to get in there, have like $100,000 account, and then be like, oh, look at me. I'm now in the millionaires club. That is not how it's supposed to be. But Russell 2000 pushing above all-time highs. You do have on the daily, let me get that right button clicked. You do have this seeing a little bit of some toppiness right now. But look at this massive move off of the bottom side here of our fib extensions. We were looking for the Russell 2000 to get above and break that platinum pocket on our extensions. Would not be too unexpected to see a little bit of a pullback back to that area. As you can see, we've got a lot of toppiness here on the higher term time frame, but I would want to watch that money flow. You might see a little bit of a switch up going into next week as we kind of see what the Fed is thinking for going forward. But even here on the 4-hour, a lot of toppiness, several reversal signals, and another overbought signal having flashed. But that platinum pocket looking like our nice strong support here. Let me get that nice and zoomed in for you so you can see that platinum pocket coming in nice and strong as some support. We're really waiting to see if we can get that nice move towards the upside and a brand new all-time high of 2,568. Looks like OC dropped for a second. Let me get him pulled back up here. I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs, but it's a pain in the tuchus sometimes. There we go. Got OC back up here. Yeah. Russell 2000 might be indicating what could be happening in our altcoin sector here coming soon. OC, I know you watch those altcoins quite heavily. Do you have anything that you've been watching or any nice moves that you've really been highlighting on your evening show that you think the people need to see this morning?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of those, right? And I want to go over some of them because we've been reading some. Oh, am I not sharing? Let me see.
I'm gonna get that pulled up. I gotta share those separately for you. So I'm getting it pulled up right now.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. I'm still doing the introduction here.
Uh,
So,
it's showing the wrong screen.
am I am I sharing the wrong screen?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, my bad.
OC sharing
Sharing
himself.
myself. Oh man, I'm telling you, I think those issues are coming through. There we go. I think I got the right one. There it is.
All right.
My bad. Here it is. All right, much better. So let's go over a couple of things because remember, we should be worrying a little bit about the rotation of capital. What is that worrying? We already had seen Bitcoin pump, and it's right now not pumping as hard. It's just like barely creeping into that trend line, right? It's gripping onto, look at that, don't letting it go, but we don't see the actual big movements that we're used to for Bitcoin. I mean, yes, taking the stare, but come on, it's like a 70-year-old Bitcoin like creeping onto that stair, right? Come on, we need some help. But in other sections, like for example, this is PEPE. We were trading PEPE. We took an entry right here, somewhere around there. It is. Well, however, 0 is 20. What was our entry specifically? This is it. 1071. Right, and right now it hit our target right here at 1140, and right now it's back at 1096. So it's almost all the way doing the round trip. Something important with, for example, right now PEPE. And as you can, I was about to make a little joke, but let's just not go over that because I was about to show this like my real chart. But let's just get rid of this because I think it's going to confuse you a lot more. All right. The point is that right here we are creating a lower high, dead cat bounce, almost book like dead cat bounce. Does that mean that low caps are not ready to pump? I don't know. Let's go, for example, take a look at grass. Let me also clean this up a little bit here and let's see how that looks. I mean, yeah, it's pumping. It's not showing a dead cat bounce still, but if we zoom out, it have not yet, look at that, broken through the range that is being set for a long time. So that actually gives me a little bit more hopium because I'm not seeing that low caps really pushing through. And as you can see right here to my right, those are the alerts that we have had. So let's go and check them out. For example, we have ADA. Let's go check out ADA. ADA, again, worrying me a little bit because it seems like it has like the dead cat bouncing here and a lower high with another dead cat bounce. That is not necessarily bad, but we've been talking about this for a long, long time. So what is up next? Right now, and I would say let's prepare for another possible entry, all right? And right here's what I want to give you guys a little bit of a warning. These areas, and I always say, hey, be careful, be careful, be careful, but in this case, I really mean it, all right? We're going to be waiting for some trend lines to be hit, and those trend lines are going to be make or break, all right? So be very, very careful when taking this kind of longs, because if we start breaking with strength here, well, it's going to be like, hey, get bound, coming back, breakthrough, retest, off you go. I knew it, or we knew it, right? We saw that coming, and then we longed it. Like what the F, right? This is still not a confirmation. Remember, this is still a pattern being formed, and we can still create a bouncing here. And what happens if we bounce out right there? Well, this lower high, instead of creating a dead cat bounce, and remember, this is what we call morphology in the patterns, right? Or morphology in the market. When one pattern seems to be what that pattern, and then over time it ends up changing and then screwing you over. So remember, do not only state what is right there in front of you, try to see through it, right? And if we do, for example, this, we're going to be forming, there we go, a symmetrical triangle. And if we have a symmetrical triangle, well, as I'm seeing Bitcoin that is kind of like creeping onto it, if we also on Bitcoin can have a little fake out, and look at that, we were looking for that actual pullback, right? So you should be already into a Bitcoin long since yesterday or since the day before, right? And we're hoping for a target up to 124, all right? Not right now. Remember that we can still come back down, and I think that's what's going to happen, in fact. So coming back down, and then last chance, and then breaking back above, all right? Which means non-low caps, like for example ADA, might have an opportunity to actually get a triangle and then have a minimum alt season. Because remember, right now the target, or the indicator, is telling us that we are right now on alt season. So we should be looking at alts, right? So once again, let me add my alert to here. Let me lock this trend line here. Let's add an alert to it. Let's create it, and let's go check out some other non that low cap, right? In between those, let's take a look at XRP, for example. Let me hide everything, and we see the same pattern. Look at that. We see a possible trend line coming out, creeping up. We see a dead cat bounce. We also see rising bottoms in here, right? Let me bring my S up, and let me clean this up, because we've been trading this heavily, especially right here. So let's lock this up, and of course, let me lock this other lines in here really quickly. And I'm locking these lines because I'm about to clean up my chart, and I want to show you what are we looking into and what is the deal. All right. So, all right, I think I got it all. Let me clean this up. Perfect. Look at how we start forming a bull flag going up, coming back down, break a retest, off you go. Classical bull flag right here, right before we hit the previous zone right there. Well, we have a lower high, again indicating that possible dead cat bounce. And am I out? Stream post. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry for that. Was not aware if I still
Oh no, you were
was
still up.
up
I had
there.
to pull up some links in the background. So
All right, all right. Sorry, guys. We're just getting used to this. It's just a new update from Streamlabs, man. It's killing me. It's killing me. And let's add, of course, this new trend line that looks amazing. Actually, look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set of hits. So right now, let's go for a very freaking dangerous long. All right, guys. Guys, if you're feeling degen right now, All right, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be splitting one entry in two. Why is that? Because we have the next entry right here, and we're breaking through that huge trend line, which means that we should be taking this opportunity. But also, there's a chance that we wick past this and we create what we were talking about, a movement to a downside. So because I'm kind of ending up the greening here. Let me bring out my oscillator really quickly. Let me turn it on and off. And 1 second here while this loads. Here it is. We're going lower right here. All right. So, guys, this is important. See how I did not have my oscillator pulled up in here. All right. And I mentioned, let's go for an entry. All right. Let me back up the training here. Now, with the full information, we're breaking through the zero line in here. We have a bad volume data here, right? We just finished up to hit some highs in here. We are right now about to hit some target lows, and that tells me that we can still go even lower. So let's aim a little bit lower in here, and we're gonna be waiting for this alert to our right, and we're gonna aim for infinite, right? It's not that I think that we're gonna hit Valhalla out of this trade, but let's just keep the expectations open, because again, I think that this could be maybe a fake out for a continuation. All right, so this is gonna be the game here, and I'm gonna add another alert right below my red box. Why am I adding this alert? Because initially, all right, let me lock this one in here. Initially, I wanted to open up a long position like right now, right away. All right. But, and that is because we are on a very strong trend line. But look at that first candle, blue, crossing over, decreasing volume. All right. So that's telling me, hey, watch out. I mean, this is not the place. So what if it goes up then from here and I was right? Well, then that's fine. I'm having new information and I want to get alerted right here for breakout, retest, continuation, next long right here as we break out, retest. So that's what I got so far on these altcoins. Let me pass it over to you and I'll get some other prepared, because I'm looking at CRV, I'm looking at Dogecoin, I'm looking at TRX, and I'm looking at Link.
Sounds good. Oh, wrong screen there. I wanted to pull up the 10-year yield. Piper had brought that up. Everyone was talking about getting those borrowing costs down, and that is set up from the 10-year yield. This is an independent variable, and that is not done by the actual Fed changing the borrowing rates privately. This is set up from the 10-year yield, and as you can see, if you look at this on the higher term time frame, this is the daily. Is the ace A to ace sounds ominous. Is my audio fine? Someone was saying that there's a little bit of a problem, but you guys let me know. We are seeing this 10-year yield continue on its uptrend here. It's not a very steep uptrend like it was. As you can see here, let me get this trend line pulled on up. I don't know why these trend lines never kind of transfer over from one place to another. Let me make sure that that's actually right. I don't know why it's green there. I don't know what I was doing, but you're seeing some nice bounces here. So nice push back up, bounce back down. We are sitting in an area where we could continue to the downside just a little bit, but looking like you might continue towards the upside here, especially with how these indicators are looking a little bit bottomy here. The audio goes out for like 3 seconds at a time, every 5 seconds. Some people saying audio is good. Some people saying it's not. It's good now that I backed out and came back in. Okay, well, LBC saying it's fine that he left and came back. So maybe that's what the issue is. I don't know what's been going on with YouTube. I've been having a bunch of problems with it. So I just fixed some settings too. Army Piper saying it's Google. Yeah, they've definitely been messing things about. So I've been having a lot of problems all over the place. So hopefully that fixes your problem if you leave and come back. We are seeing that 10-year yield, though, continue on the uptrend that it has been. We are seeing that continuation be a little bit worrisome. We do see, let's zoom this on out, actually take a look at that weekly time frame. We're just getting started here, finding support back at levels that we haven't been at since 2008. So if you remember 2008, that's not necessarily a good sign for your yields to kind of be heading in the wrong direction here. Borrowing costs are increasing as you're seeing inflation pressures really increase. You're hearing people talk about recession. Cutting the rates on the federal government does not decrease the fact that your private borrowing costs might not go down. So this is all done through the buying of actual bonds, and watching us make new highs and getting back to levels that we haven't been in since we were in a recession kind of sends you in a little bit of a worrying direction here. We are making and holding very strong support on levels. You see that dump, we really get that bounce off of it. You see it dump, you really get that bounce off of it. Let me get that next CME watch pulled on up here for October. It's looking like we might be coming down another 25 basis points. Sorry about that blinding white light, but there is no dark mode on this. So, as they say, flashbangs for you. But we're also seeing the chance that we stay the same start to increase now. So it has been sitting up at that 99, basically 100% chance. We're slowly seeing an 8% increase to an 8% of holding the rate steady. This is why I really want you to pay attention to the speeches that come out next week, because this hold the rate might increase, or we might get this be 100%, and you might start seeing that 50 basis point rate cut talk increase all over again, especially after we just saw our first descent for above the norm. The normal was that 25 basis point rate cut. While everyone else was holding steady, we had one descent. He might do a little bit of working on these other board members to see if he can get that 50 basis point rate cut, but I don't think that's going to fix the 10-year yield and our borrowing costs at all. So I'm gonna get OC guy pulled back up here, and you got anything else that you were wanting to share with the people, or anything else to talk about on that?
Just a couple of altcoins, but other than that, not much. Just looking to, just giving it some space because we just had, the Fed reaction. Let's just wait for a direction. I think the direction is going to be up because that's what we have seen after the cuts. But yeah, not much other than just TA.
All right. Well, I haven't seen you do some TA on Bitcoin yet. So, do you want to show people what you were looking for on that Bitcoin chart? Let me get that screen pulled on up for you.
Absolutely. So looking at Bitcoin right here, we were expecting this drop back down to this area. Well, it happened much faster, so we should be already into a longing here, coming back down right now to round trip for this support area. Important. We're losing our true 70 here, right? So let's check that out really quickly. If I remove this in here, you'll see that our true 70 is going down, but our money flow stays steady, and our volume is still, or volume matrix is still going a little bit lower here. As long as the money flow, and let me show you guys that right here, money flow, it is the one leading the way. As long as money flow stays green, I think we're gonna hold the area. All right, not specifically the support, the trend line, but the area around it. All right, so be prepared also for maybe, as I was mentioning, maybe another sweep of the lows in here, having a fake out here, maybe creating a megaphone at this point and getting ready for the next pattern, which I believe is going to be a break to the upside. Still need to be confirmed, right? Remember, I'm not saying that, hey, long it. All right, and I'm not that's not what I'm saying. All right, so let's be a little patient today. We are hitting the supporting here, and when is it gonna be our entry? Our entry is going to be when our regression oscillators start flipping back around. We have our diamond here, reversal diamond, just like we had it in here, and crossing over that zero line. That's when we're gonna start jumping for a long position. Of course, that as we're going up, when we're getting in this zone in here for that mountain, that's when we want to see our ADX also pushing to the upside. That's what I'm seeing right now. So far, no areas of entry. Yes, we are in a support, but that support seems it is starting to seem a little weak to my eyes, right? So let's give it some time. If we start bouncing off that support and we start breaking this trend line right here, this support zone at 117.21, well then I'm gonna be reconsidering this because most likely we are creating, like in altcoins, a symmetrical triangle. So long story short, I'm not taking this long right here because I'm losing my oscillator here, my zero line, and my 270 is also pointing down, and my volume matrix is also pointing down, and I have right here a VWAP crossover. So other than that, let's give it some time. Let's wait for things settle down and then plan for our next re-entry. So that's what I got so far on Bitcoin. Waiting some right now. But remember, within 4 hours, we should already have an answer. Where is Bitcoin heading to? But yeah, that's what I got so far on Bitcoin. Let me pass it over to you.
All right. Well, I did have the dollar pulled on up. I wanted to take a look at it because I'm seeing something a little bit concerning here on our higher term time frames. We are back to levels that we haven't been at since 2022. We are unable to get above the golden pocket and hold it. This is a weekly chart. We're seeing a lot of sideways momentum coming in here on these oscillators, and that's not what you want to see after you're failing to get above our golden pocket here. We're holding the 96.4 range quite nicely, but it looks like we're going to be coming down for another test of those levels. And we're seeing a bunch of sideways momentum here on these oscillators as we're doing so, which might lend to a little bit of curvature towards the downside and continue on that downside trend. This is not what you want to really see unless you're an investor, and then that means your asset prices go up. So keep that in mind. The dollar losing some strength might give you a little more strength in your assets, in your asset prices. But if we start losing some of these levels, this is a little bit concerning, as the strength of the dollar would be starting to really break the highs that we were at back through most of the 2010 era. This would kind of lead us down to a point where we'd be looking for the lows of our whole 2010 era. We've been on a uptrend for a little while now, but this would be another switch of direction. And when you see that giant switch in direction for the dollar, it is a massive switch in direction. As you can see here, when you're making that little uptrend, this would have been the 90s, making that nice little move towards the upside here. Once you break direction and you start coming down, you come down with some strength. You try to hold key levels, and then you really exacerbate that downside trend here. So we've been in a little bit of an uptrend on the dollar, but it looks like we could try to switch back down to a downside trend here. We have been making lower highs. We've been making very equal lows here on the weekly time frame. On that weekly time frame, we're holding the golden pocket quite nicely. Now we're below the golden pocket and we're getting a bunch of rollover here. So keep your eye on that. We have been getting some nice moves towards the upside, not just because people are buying, but because the dollar has been losing massive amounts of strength and is sitting at levels that we haven't been at for 3 years now. So keep that in mind. I did want to take a look at COPI for A to Ace. He did bring that one up in the chat here. We are making some higher lows here after giant sell-offs on COPI. So I know he's a big fan. It is a great game. I've seen a lot of his gameplay here, but you are seeing a little bit of some hopium on a higher term time frame. This daily is breaking towards the upside of our MACD line, getting some nice strong bounces off of it. We're really just waiting on some money flow to come back in here. Let me get that fib tool pulled on up here, because we are sitting below that 236, and that's going to be our first real barrier to get above. We're sitting a little on the bottom side of this sideways range here, so we will need to get above 2 cents first. That's going to be our sideways horizontal that we're going to find a little bit of some resistance at. You can see all of the touches we got on it back here. Let me get that drawn on up there. That's about 0.229. That's going to be that first area to kind of watch for some resistance. You can see how we rejected off of it with some quickness right there as well. Giant selling wick. We're waiting to really get above that point, and then that 236 is going to be our next real battle zone here. If you've been accumulating in this area and we can start breaking above the lows from way back here, which oddly enough has been our resistance for now, then you have quite a bit of room towards the upside here. I would watch this project and keep some alerts set around that 2.5 cent mark, because if you can break that, there's a lot of room to move towards the upside there. You are making those higher lows, and you are seeing the trickle of money going down from those bigger projects into these lower projects, especially as you've seen that in the traditional markets as well. I'm going to toss that over to OC Guy, see what he's got to wrap the show up today, and then we will talk you on out and probably end that show, see if there's anyone to send you on over to. You've got the floor.
Absolutely. So thank you, my friend. Taking it over, looking for a AIXBT. This is something that I think that could be happening. Very important. We're having a rounded top on XIBTX. AIXBT, I'm sorry for that. And we're having that little rounded top, triple top also right here, and even a possible hit in shoulders. Very weird hit in shoulders, right? So not looking that great still, but we can throw a couple of trend lines in here. In the meantime, we see what pattern this is, because this is fitting within so many things in here. Well, we have a breakout in here, we have a retest, and we're going back down. Next area to look into is going to be your dynamic reactor as we're coming back down, and we still have a little bit of that money flow green. Very different from Bitcoin, very different for example, what was the other one? ADA, if I'm not mistaken. Look at how right here, let me bring this up. I want to make this one big. Perfect. Look at how we are green on our volume matrix. We are still green within our money flow, and we start green on our true 7. All right, so it's not that we're gonna go crazy in this, but it's absolutely something that we want to keep our eyes on. All right, so just keep your eyes right here on this trend line. Let me lock it, and of course, let me add an alert to it. And just for good measure, I'm also gonna be adding another alert right here, a little bit higher, somewhere around the 0.1162. I'm going to be reanalyzing this when the price actually start hitting that support, because I want to see if we're having a rejection like in here, or if we're having a breakthrough. And we're having a breakthrough, most likely we're going to have some red on our volume matrix, and I'm going to try to short it all the way to 0.09. So far, the bearish scenario is not playing. All right. But we should be having an entry within a couple of hours, between 4 and 8 hours from now. So AIXBT looking pretty good, to be honest. Let's go check and take a look at another one that is having almost the same pattern. It's not that bullish, but also look at this. We have the same kind of like hidden shoulders, the same double bottom, right? The same trend line breakout retest in here. And in this case, we are below the dynamic reactor. This is JASMY. This is a low cap, all right? So not really too important, But the areas that I'm looking in here at the support zones in here. All right. So what I'm gonna be going for, it is an alert a little bit lower right here, somewhere around 0138. And I'm gonna be looking for a long position. Guys, this is not a long position for you to open and leave it. All right. Remember, this is looking for a long, not a confirmed long. All right. Just making sure that we're on the same page. And when the alert starts hitting right here, we're going to come back here and see, all right, are we having that flip of the ribbon? How our volume matrix is looking like? Do we have some power bar bearish at the top? And that will define whether we take that entry or not. Most likely we are. Spoiler alert. Most likely we are. And that is because look at how strong this support have been for the longest time ever. So yes, we can even go a little bit lower in here, but again, that will be defined as we're hitting that support and looking how that ribbon is, or what that ribbon it is telling us. Another important factor in here is that we could also be having another U-shaped pattern in here, like we had in here, and the only thing that we're missing, it is the strength on the ADX. But other than that, that's so far what I got on the altcoins area. And well, keeping it safe, keeping it clear, and of course, keeping it simple. Not over leverage, not over trade, and of course, do not push your wallet to the limit by having that many open positions. Manage your risk. That's what I got.
Well, thank you, OC. Glad that you came on here to do this show with me today. It's always fun to hang out with our alumni, give them a little bit of what we're thinking for the day. And, you know, when you're with the OC guy, putting on a tinfoil hat and having a little bit of fun. So I appreciate you tuning on in. You're going live this evening, right? You said you were feeling better?
Much better, absolutely. And I want to check out on these trades that we gave today. So we might be having some entries. So yes, absolutely, we're going to be going live tonight. Yeah, and also after that, we have a gaming session. BC, hopefully you have some free time, and we might be able to play some Halo.
Well, I should have some free time. I will be on I will be with Crypto Coin Mindset this evening. We do our every Friday evening show. So after that, I will try to make an appearance in the chats over there, have some fun. I heard you've been doing some gaming, so definitely interested to hop on into the chats over there. I did see that Dano Crypto is going live right after this show ends, so I've got that redirect all set up. When you get on, why they should smash that like button today, OC.
Oh, absolutely. Guys, smash that like button and maybe some good kills on your Halo maybe coming along. Who knows? Maybe you're the next chosen one. So other than that, guys, thanks so much for joining. And remember, it really helps. Click that, smash that like button.
That's the rap. Chart stack, data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional, damn it.
We'll see you at the next
They don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?